This Wednesday, Venezuelan Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello denounced an attempted false flag operation by the US DEA agency to justify its ongoing aggression against the Bolivarian nation. The Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace reported that over 3,600 kilograms of cocaine were seized during the operation, in which 4 people with Venezuelan identity cards were detained carrying no weapons. The Venezuelan investigation revealed, thanks to the boat's GPS data, that the vessel was traveling with 4 overboard engines and had left from Colombia, entered Venezuelan waters to then go north and be intercepted by the U.S. and used it as justification in its military aspirations across the Caribbean. Diosdado Cabello also reiterated Venezuela's commitment to face drug trafficking, adding that so far this year they have seized 60 tons of drugs in anti-drug operations.
Voy a decir con conocimiento de causa y que quede muy claro.
I am saying this with full knowledge of the facts. And let me make this very clear. Levy, Enrique Lopez Baudiz, is a DEA agent and a drug trafficker, and against Venezuela. This was going to be part of a false flag operation. 4 citizens were arrested.
Saben los pescadores y las pescadoras de Venezuela que cuando ellos salen a faena no se llevan.
Venezuelan fishermen know that when they go out to work, they do not take their ID cards or anything else with them. How strange that these 4 citizens had their ID cards there, ready to be handed over. That boat with drugs was a false flag operation by the DEA to accuse Venezuela. For detainees with Venezuelan ID cards were going to be presented. That is what the detainees are saying. They are the ones saying this. Mr. Levy Enrique Lopez Baudiz works for the DEA. The criminals know this. And this person is collaborating in this operation. We receive the information, and we begin to do our job as necessary, successfully. The most important thing for us is that we seized 3,680 kilograms of cocaine, arrested 4 individuals, and have fully identified who sent the drugs and why.
The Venezuelan authority also reported that 60 tons of drugs have been seized during the year in various operations across the country.
Ya hemos anunciado que hace unos días, hace 2 días.
We have already announced that a few days ago, 2 days ago,
Fueron capturados, fue capturado un grupo de ciudadanos en un.
on Sunday night into Monday morning, a group of citizens were captured in a boat with a significant amount of drugs. In this case, cocaine. All of this is the result of intelligence work that we have been doing for quite some time now, which has allowed us to arrive at this point where 60,070 kilograms of drugs, 60 tons of drugs, have already been seized in various operations this year.
Venezuela's Minister of Defense, Vladimir Padrino Lopez, also announced Wednesday the beginning of the military drill Caribe Soberano 200 in the face of the U.S. threats against the national sovereignty. Padrino Lopez informed that the training follows President Nicolás Maduro's guidelines within Operation Independencia 200, which seeks to guarantee peace in the country. He also signaled that the drill are carried out in the face of the increase of the U.S. threats against the Venezuelan people and as strong show of support for the defense of the nation's sovereignty. The military operation is taking place in the Orchila archipelago in the state of La Guaira, with a deployment of air and maritime means of defense, including drones and submarines.
In other words, there will be a deployment of defense resources, including armed drones, surveillance drones, underwater drones, and airborne drones for surveillance of the area, and also for the offensive capabilities of the drones, as well as the deployment of Buk missile systems and Su anti-aircraft systems.
The Venezuelan Ministry of Defense also announced the deployment of a surveillance plan to protect the country's fishermen and oil and gas activities.
We are, as is appropriate to our doctrine, increasing our operational readiness in the Caribbean so that our fishermen can have confidence, faith in their work, and in their daily productive tasks, so that all productive activities in Venezuela, including oil and gas, can be carried out in complete peace.
According to estimates, the United States spends millions of dollars daily to support its warfare operations in the Caribbean, while ignoring its domestic problem of drug abuse. Let's review some data. According to estimates based on interdiction budget reports from the Department of Defense and the U.S. Coast Guard, the military operation in the Caribbean could cost around $10 million per day. That money could finance 2,127 annual treatments for people with addiction at an average cost of $4,700 per patient per year. 50 days in the Caribbean coast, the equivalent of 105,000 treatments, which is the number of people who died each year from opioid overdoses in the United States. Also, a recent survey applied in Venezuela confirms the popular rejection to a potential foreign military aggression against the Bolivarian nation. Precisely 1,200 interviews conducted by the Venezuelan intelligence agency Interlaces revealed that 93% of Venezuelans disagree with foreign military intervention against the country. Only 5% of those polled agreed with an external military action, while 2% say that they do not know or prefer not to answer. The resounding response obtained demonstrates the national consensus against the refusal of foreign powers to interfere in the nation's sovereignty.